Hi, it's Lee. How are you? I wanted to do a quick talk today. This one's going to be about how to feel free with yourself and in God while being on the earth and while being on an earth that seems to be mysteriously and more obviously run by some pretty ridiculous characters. And you know, the purpose of this speech is to talk about how, yes, it's becoming evident that there are a lot of people that feel the walls are closing in on them, or there is less freedoms in certain ways, or you're not as free to do as you might have liked to. Like, for example, you can't just take a horse and go and ride on the street or anything like that, right? Laws and rules that apply. But what I'm mainly going to be trying to cover in this little talk is the fact that you can be absolutely and totally free no matter what condition or placement you are in time and space. The flaw that we get into, or that what we get taught as children, is to accept the external surroundings as the predominant, as the most important, as the master reality, when in fact it couldn't be further from the truth. So knowing this, that's the theme that I want to talk about. Now, you should know by now, if you're looking at these type of videos, if you're on my channel and similarly related, I'm just getting started on YouTube. I'm a brand new guy in the ocean here as far as talking on YouTube is concerned. Lots of videos, lots of books, lots of knowledge, ranging thousands of years back and thousands of years ahead, and millions of years back and millions of years ahead, if you want to go in that far, if I want to be testy with you. But the fact is, you should know by now, absolutely and 100%, that you are 1,000%, even better. No percentage, infinity. You are the infinite. You are an eternal being. It's a plain fact. Excuse me. It's a plain fact. And it's a good thing. The recognition of this brings the extreme and utmost joy. It does. It's sobering in one way, and it's completely exhilarating in the other way. Right? And why is that? Because it is the truth. And because it is the thing that frees you. Now, with the recognition of this comes lots of goodies. Lots of delicious tidbits of knowledge. The fact that the recognizance of this brings you to the fact of knowledge that no matter where you are, you cannot really be harmed. Your stay isn't permanent. And with the knowledge of this freedom, it means that you already did graduate. Okay? It means that you've been allowed to see this, and so you've been allowed to become the master of the external world. Not the ruler, not the would-be king, not the would-be king of the castle kind of mentality. Because the people that are trying to control the external world with ferocity are control freaks, because they don't control the self. They don't have a clear picture of the self. Now I want to tell you guys something, to interject it quickly here before I get on with that. The satanic cult worshippers, like all this, and people watching my videos should be privy to this by now. You should know about Illuminati and all this kind of stuff. These guys are a teenage level type of soul that is still bent on rebellion and, oh, look at what I can do, look what I can get away with. They're still testing the fact that they can rebel. They haven't come to the age level of maturity and in a sober state to say, I don't need to rebel. Okay? So they're still there. But they're the ones that are causing a lot of troubles here. Not all the troubles, and there's only so much they can do. But the fact is, here it is. They just coming out of a cold place in a spiritual realm. When inhabiting a body, it seems like an upgrade. Oh, so by finding the body an upgrade from the state where they just were, they imagine that, hey, now I can look at and take the external, and that'll be my master reality. And so they try and control that, because for them it's the best thing since sliced bananas. Where in fact, true mastery of knowledge understands that this physical density is a low density, it's a low vibration, it's heavy, it's in the mud. The flesh and blood, the clay that we animate is in the mud. It's a very low vibration, it's a very low reality, it's a very weak reality. Now, to know this, to see yourself and recognize yourself as the eternal self, remember you're going to die one day. Remember in your higher self, remind yourself that you have died already numerous times. Death is not even, it's not even a death. There's no word for it. It's nothing. It's just opening one, closing one chapter, opening the next chapter. Closing a trilogy, beginning the next one. That's all it is. The story of you goes on and on. So, with the recognition of the eternal self, however you want to reach that, whatever conclusion will make you understand that, your thoughts, your being, your heart, your hope, your love, all this thing has nothing to do with your body, therefore you are not your body. You are the eternal spirit. So, since we are a drop of the ocean from God, qualitatively the same, smaller, not as equal in that way, but qualitatively the same, a drop from the ocean, we are able to become very, very powerful and very enlightened, and we're called to be holy. Okay? The great push is for us to become truly free, and the recognition of the eternal makes you want to enjoy your eternal in a happy state. Nobody wants to be sad. So, I wake up and I find myself here again. I've been on this planet lots of times, and other planets too. This is not a joke. I mean, we don't have to call this kind of talk a new agey or put some little title on it, or these are all the excuses that the devil throws in to make people doubt and fear. If you, let's just say for example, you are someone that doubts, maybe you are someone that doubts, well, that's because you were told. It's not because you discovered. It's not because you came to that conclusion on your own. You were told that it's not true. You were told that you are worth nothing. You've been told that you come from a little amoeba and you're an accident. Who does that benefit, that kind of talk? Okay? The people that are trying to be the master of this world. Okay? The devil is the prince of this world who has already been cast out. Okay? The people that are trying to rule, that have a desire to become better than others, they are lower than others. You know that, and I know that. But don't let their lies get to you. Now, here's finally the meat of my topic then. The fact that, as St. Paul said, live in the world as if you were not of the world. Act as if a citizen of heaven. Because if you already are meant to be, and you already are, then you are. A lot of us return to places like this with nothing to do and no desires except to love and to help. Now, the fact of the matter is, we are seeing in this earth right now a major time of change. Everybody feels it. Whether you're on the side of people that are very much privy to this knowledge and are on the cutting edge of the new paradigm, whether you're resisting the new paradigm, whether you're somewhere in between, not really sure. I think most people are not exactly sure, but so many of us are becoming more and more on the cutting front edge of the new paradigm. It's wonderful, isn't it? We are finally becoming the divinity that we are meant to be. More accurately, more understanding, to understand ourselves better. It was there the whole time. It was a matter of waking up and shaking off the cobwebs, coming above the water, right? Same thing. So, how to live free while even being here? How to live miraculously free, how to travel the whole world and the whole galaxy and beyond while being in a present now. This is the ultimate freedom. You don't need to go anywhere physically or be anything or change yourself. You already are it, you already are there. Now what happens is, as we become more linked with God, who is our parent, our loving light, our source, as we become more linked with God, He donates and shares and extends His powers to us. we start to live, we start to merge with him and go as far and be as grand as he is. I'm saying he, doesn't matter, he, she, it. I prefer calling it a he. I prefer looking at it as a father, but it doesn't matter. We all have our own terms. The fact of the matter is, you can be totally free even in jail. You can be totally free even on a sick bed. You can be totally free no matter what. If your being recognizes itself. If you're free of shackles in your mind and in your heart. Okay? It doesn't mean you don't grumble sometimes. I grumble too sometimes. And then I catch myself and say, you know better. Right? Now let's look at this historically. When our souls were first put into this earth school, this quarantine type of place, by necessity, we had a lot of, let's say, ground level jungle type freedom. Meaning that you get up and go as you want, you didn't have to worry about a 9-to-5 job, so to speak. I mean, yeah, you had to work, but I mean, we weren't worried about reporting to someone so much. We weren't worried about having a wallet, you know, and a wallet and a purse full of identification and cards and all sorts of nonsense. Now these things seem to be to some people, oh, it's the enemy coming to trap us. Well, in a way yes, and in a way no. Because it's not really authentic. It's like a monopoly, it's a game. It should be seen as weak as a game, as weak as an illusion, because it is. Now here's the thing, God allows this to happen in the overall framework that he has put. And then within this, these people are allowed to operate that, thinking they're in charge of it and they're running it for their own selfish evil purposes. But really it's being allowed to filter down for the purpose of the greater good. So even with social insurance number or identification, and even with the driver's license, and even with you know, your bank account, etc., etc., I have this too. But to me it means absolutely nothing. It's like saying, oh, is that the board game I'm playing at this planet at this time with them? Yeah, okay, sure. Here. Because it is that ridiculous. You know, you have a lot of people that are very paranoid. I don't want to name names. There's a lot of people that are personal heroes of mine in their bravery. But at the same hand, I think that they're also not seeing a bigger picture. If they're going on the aggressive attack against dark forces and Illuminati and stuff, well good, that's their calling, and I commend them. But I also say, another way of looking at it is not to be paranoid, not to be afraid. Other people work in other ways. My job here is to remind people, and to remind myself, good Lord, all the time. Remind you, remind me, to remember your high state, remember the love, remember how free you really can be. A happy person is a harmless person. A person that is in accordance with the will of divinity by their own choice. If you don't obey God because, oh, I better do it or I'm in trouble, that needs to be gone. It has to be, I choose to love because it just feels right. That's God's check mark of approval, automatically. That's our one ship, our unity with the divinity. Then you are working as an extension of the divinity. You are free. Recognize the freedom. Recognize the freedom right now. You are very, very free. You're stuck in a little body for a little time. You have the choice. You can even leave your body if you wanted to. Today, tonight. But you know you should be.